There's a variation of the chicken plucker that produces more interesting progressive squares. Here's a generalization of the chicken plucker. You start with right and left through, and then we give a little bit more complicated sequence of moves. In this case, pass through, bend the line, ladies chain, and pass through, move on. We then do right and left through, and then we reverse those moves. We do pass through, move on, ladies chain, and pass through, bend the line. This is what I call the generalized chicken plucker. It's a right and left through, a sequence of certain moves, then right and left through, and that sequence of moves in reverse order. It turns out that this always zeroes out for any arrangement of squares on the floor made into lines. In the 2x2 case, let's have a look, and let's follow one couple through just to see what happens. So we start out and we do the right and left through, and now we're going to do the sequence. Pass through, bend the line, ladies chain, and pass through, move on to the next. We can dance zeros here, and notice that people have lost their partners, so that man number 4 is moved away from his partner. In fact, lots of people are now in different squares. But we can reverse this. We do the right and left through, and now we do pass through, move on to the next, ladies chain, and pass through, bend the line, and we're right back home again. We can have a more complicated arrangement for the same sequence. In this case, an arrangement like this. We start out with the right and left through. We do the sequence of those 3 moves, pass through, bend the line, ladies chain, and pass through, move on. We can come back home with a right and left through, and then we reverse it with pass through, move on, ladies chain, and pass through, bend the line, and everybody's home. Even if you can't make a complete rectangular arrangement, this thing still works. So we do a right and left through. Let's follow these dancers here. Right and left through. The sequence of 3 moves. Pass through, bend the line, ladies chain, and pass through, move on. Play with them for a while. Bring them back. They thought they'd lost their partners. Right and left through. Reverse those key moves. Pass through, move on, ladies chain, and pass through, bend the line. Everybody's home again. Now it turns out that sometimes this doesn't produce very interesting behavior. For example, in this situation here, if we try this here, we do the right and left through, and the sequence of the 3 moves, pass through, bend the line, ladies chain, and pass through, move on. Unfortunately, nothing really complicated has happened in that top square. It's true when we reverse it, right and left through, and do those moves again in the reverse order, you are back home. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be an interesting situation. It was because of having that isolated square at the top